Okay, so I think we have 8 students. So I think we're going to start, and if people want to join, they can still join later. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Joris. So I am one of the 2 French international tutors here in EduHK. And so my job is to promote French culture and to teach French to the students. I do some French tutorial sessions. And I am here today with Nicole, who is going to talk about, to do a presentation about French food habits, French culture, French table manners, how you behave when you are eating, all those kind of things. So first of all, I will just briefly introduce myself. So let me just share my screen. So I don't come from Paris. I guess that's the only city you know. Most of the time people only know Paris. But I come from Avignon, which is this small town in the south of France. And I just arrived here in Hong Kong. And what I wanted to ask you guys is, can you connect to this Nearpod so we can interact together before starting the presentation? So please use this link and use the code that you can see on my screen. I'm going to type it in the chat. 68UN. Okay, so if you guys are all connected, I would like to ask you, what do you know about France? It can be anything, not necessarily related to food, but anything about monuments, history. Do you know any French celebrities? Have you traveled to France? Do you have any stereotypes about French people? So please feel free to share it on this collaborative board so we can all see your thoughts about France. So, okay, so Cyrus says Mbappé, okay, that's interesting. It's not related to food, but it's a French football player. Let's see what you guys have in mind. Anything else? We have another one, macaron. Yes, well done, macaron. Have you ever tried macaron? Yuan, have you ever tried it? Hello? Oh, we have another answer. Baguette, obviously, yeah, that's the most stereotypical French food, I guess. In Hong Kong, you can try the Eric Kaiser Bakery. And I think that's the most famous French bakery you can find in Hong Kong. He has several branches here in Hong Kong, one in Central, one in Wan Chai, I think. So you can definitely, if you like baguette, you can definitely try to have a go. Rabbit stew, okay, interesting. That's not the most common thing, but okay. Interesting. Okay, great. So you have a few ideas. One more answer. Emmanuel Macron, yeah. That's the French president, yes. it's our president. But we are going to have new elections in a few months, so maybe it's going to change. Who knows? And Paris, yes, Paris, obviously. Paris, as we say in French, the capital. Okay, so thank you for answering. So now I will let Nicole introduce herself, and I think we can start the presentation now. I'm just going to share this. Oh, okay.
C'est OK? D'accord.
Yes.
Je la vois très petite, ta vidéo, la slide.
Ah ouais?
Ouais, c'est bon. Ouais, c'est bon, je vois bien.
OK.
Encore. Slide 1. Non, ça c'est... Oui, encore, ouais. OK. It's okay?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Nicole Jouffret. I am very happy to give you a presentation about French gastronomy and the French art of table service. Slide 2. I am an expert in the hotel and catering industry. I have written a professional book called Hotel and Catering, The Keys to Success. It was published 1 year ago. I have worked in the catering industry, and I taught for 20 years in different catering schools. Now I'm preparing for a prestigious French table service competition. I have filmed and posted tutorials about catering. You can find these videos on my YouTube channel. I have also founded Better Together, which is an association connecting professionals and students in the catering industry. Slide 3. Slide 3. Okay. Today, I'm going to speak about gastronomy, about the French lifestyle, and about the French art of table service. In France, cooking is an art, a discipline with its own set of codes. In 2010, UNESCO classified French cuisine as an intangible cultural heritage. This prestigious distinction marks the official recognition of French excellence. French gastronomy also stands out through a careful table presentation and culinary aesthetic, a codified set of gestures, and a subtle pairing of food and wine. Gastronomy is very important in France, and it is deeply ingrained in our culture. France remains the cradle of gastronomy, with great chefs such as Ducasse, Georges Blanc, Loiseau, Joël Robuchon, Paul Bocuse, and Alain Passat. There are many catering schools that teach the art of French service, the French cuisine, and hospitality. Slide 4. Now, let's see what our meals look like. In France, we have breakfast between 6:30 and 8:30. We have lunch between noon and 1:30, and we have dinner between 7 and 8. We love all things related to food. We love cooking and eating. We have many TV shows on food and cooking. Family meals remain important, and we spend a lot of time together around the table. Many people in France usually cook their meals themselves, using fresh, unprocessed products. Meals are important moments of sharing and conviviality. Slide 5. There are two foods that French people really like. It's bread and cheese. We eat bread at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and there are many types of bread. There are bakeries everywhere. Slide 6. Okay. There are more than 300 types of cheese in France. We eat cheese after the main course, just before dessert. We may eat it with bread, butter, and with dry and fresh fruits, for example, apple and pear, etc. More and more often, we eat cheese as an appetizer with cold meat. We also cook cheese in quiches, for example. Slide 7. Breakfast is usually a light meal consisting of tea or brewed coffee, with or without milk. In cafes, breakfast often consists of a croissant or pain au chocolat and espresso. But at home, we usually have a slice of bread with butter and jam and an oranges. In France, we like our coffee to be strong, especially in the morning. Traditionally, lunch has always been an important family meal. Slide 8. Okay. Of course, we enjoy burgers, which are very often homemade in restaurants. We also enjoy Italian cuisine, Asian food, and Moroccan cuisine. Couscous and tagines are very, very popular in France. Slide 9. Markets are also very popular in France. Every day of the week, we can find markets in towns and villages in which you can buy fresh food, vegetables, and local products. During a meal, French people try to have fun, to eat healthy, and respect the planet through organic and local products, all at the same time. In France, plastic is forbidden in restaurants. You can't find plastic straws, disposable cutlery, and plates. Slide 10. In French schools, there are canteens and cafeterias that provide pupils with balanced meals. After school or around 4 p.m., the children have a snack, often consisting of a slice of bread with chocolate, fruit, and or yogurt. It is a light snack that is important in French lifestyle. Okay, slide 11. Okay, abroad, some products and dishes symbolize French traditional cuisine. Snails, foie gras, Roquefort cheese, cassoulet with sausages and bean, beef bourguignon with meat stewed in wine, gratin dauphinois with potatoes and cream. And slide 12. Okay, we usually finish the meal with a dessert. This can be a yogurt, fruit puree, or a piece of cake. At the end of the meal, we often pair coffee or tea with some chocolate. We love pastries, cakes, and biscuits. In France, there are many patisseries, which are shops that sell cakes. We have a lot of little cakes that we can take away, like macaron, traditional cakes like opera, or the Saint-Honoré cake, which is a puff, pastry with a cream puff. Okay, thanks. Some chefs and pastry chefs are very famous, like Cédric Grolet, who is very famous for his fruits, or Pierre Hermé for his macaron. You may know Eric Kaiser in Hong Kong, I know. Okay, slide 14 and 15. Okay. In France, we value the art of table service. Since the 16th century, French people have had a taste for beautiful, high-quality tableware and plates in Sèvres or Limoges porcelain. And slide 15, please. Okay. And silver cutlery and baccarat crystal glasses. Slide 16. Okay. In this picture, you can see photos I have taken inside the Élysée Palace, which is the official residence of the French President Emmanuel Macron. A lot of gourmet restaurants combine traditional and modern cuisine. For example, on this slide, you can see the restaurant of the chef Anne-Sophie Pic. She is the only woman in France who has been awarded 3 Michelin stars. Okay, continue. Okay. Wines play an important part in French culture. We often drink wine with an appetizer, but mostly during the meal. You may know the vineyards of Burgundy and of Bordeaux. The vineyards of Champagne are the best known internationally. Je continue, l'autre slide. In gourmet restaurants, we pay great attention to wine service. On this slide, la prochaine. Okay, on this slide, you can discover how to use a carafe during service. In France, the sommelier plays an important role in recommending wines to customers when they choose a dish. Okay, continue. Cocktails bar have become very, very popular in France. We enjoy cocktails with and without alcohol. 22. Okay. We usually serve individual dishes. In some restaurants, meat and fish are cut in front of guests and can be flambé. When it comes to flambé, the best known in France is the crêpe flambée. Crêpes are prepared in a caramel sauce and are flambé with 2 French alcohols. The first one is cognac, which is a brandy, and the second is Cointreau, which is an orange-based brandy. Okay, okay. You can see on this slide a link to a video on duck carving. It's called Canard au sang. Okay, you can see we are going to watch a video. Okay, you can. Okay, thanks.
No, it's rare. So now they send the duck inside, I think.
He's still alive.
How'd you know?
He cried. Tout mou, quoi. Look, he makes some magic. Attention.
From the bones. And the carcass.
Yes.
And then when they press down, all the juices come out and flavor the sauce.
Les anciens.
Tu veux que je te mette une assiette là?
Non. Il va faire une après l'autre. Comme ça, moi.
C'est moi qui ai les mains, ça.
Faut donner du boulot.
Also, the soda cheese sliced.
Cool.
J'arrête là ou je continue?
Oh, tu peux finir si tu veux. C'est ouais, c'est juste le dressage en fait. It's special.
Grammarly does.
Okay. And the last slide. Okay. And yes. In France, we are very attached to social etiquette, which is the art of good table manners and good manners in general. I'm going to give you some examples. When you shake hands, have a firm handshake while making eye contact. The man enters a restaurant before a woman to make sure the place is suitable. Do not lean on the back of the chair. Keep your back straight. And during the meal, put only your forearms on the table and definitely not your elbows. After the meal, you can put your elbows on the table. It's just examples, okay? Okay, and it's finished. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any question, I will be happy to answer them. Joris, it's okay for me.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole, for everything. So she went through a lot of different things about French culture and French food habits in restaurants. I wanted to know if you guys have any questions to ask us, anything you want to know about what we eat in our daily lives, or maybe something you are interested in. Do you have anything to say? You can speak up or just use the chat if you want.
Hello, I have a question. I wonder about the restaurant, and I guess it would be very expensive. How much it costs if people would like to experience in the restaurant, like you see them cutting the meat.
Yeah, I see. If you if you go to the restaurant where you have the cook like cutting the meat just in front of you, yes, it's very likely to be very expensive, to be a very high-end restaurant. But of course, you can find some other places less, let's say, less fancy, where you can get pretty much cheap meals actually. So what Nicole has showed you in this presentation is mostly about, as I said, very high-end cuisine, French cuisine. But if you go to other type of restaurants, it's going to be much cheaper and let's say more welcoming in a way. More like a very different atmosphere than what you see in those very fancy places.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and from this the duck, okay, the carving duck. For two people, you must pay 116 euros.
For a dish.
For two people.
For two
yes.
people.
Two people.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good.
It's expensive. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of people who serve you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Maybe you should try once in a life. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It's okay. Okay.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Excuse-moi, j'ai une petite question.
Oui. Oh, c'est Cyrus, ok.
Ouais.
Avec plaisir. Avec plaisir.
Est-ce que les Français mangent le croissant ou le pain du chocolat toute la journée? Tous les jours?
Nicole, tu veux répondre?
Alors, je te demande juste, j'ai peur de ne pas avoir compris, est-ce qu'on mange des croissants ou des pains au chocolat tous les jours, c'est ça la
Oui,
question?
c'est ça. Oui, tous les jours.
Oui.
Non, pas tous les jours. Pas tous les jours. Mais often we eat croissant each weekend. In general, each weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can eat croissant in cafes all the day if you want. It's possible.
I think like my French friends tell me they used to eat croissant and pain au chocolat every day in their houses or in the restaurant because they really like to eat these kinds of things.
J'entends pas bien ce qu'il a. J'ai pas compris, j'ai pas très bien entendu.
Il a dit que
ça coupe un peu. Oui.
Il a dit que des amis à lui français lui ont dit qu'il mangeait des pains au chocolat et des croissants tous les jours.
Ah oui, d'accord, j'avais pas entendu, ça coupe un peu. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
maybe
yes, it's possible. You can eat all the day if you want, but after, if you want to eat healthy, it's better to eat just bread.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see.
Do you eat? Do you eat? Have you already eat croissant, Cyrus?
Yeah, I tried before. I ate. Yeah, I brought some quite delicious croissant in Hong Kong that I can buy from the boulanger, for example, and yeah. I have never ever been to France yet, so I'm not sure whether it's the real taste or not compared to the France bakery. I prefer maybe the taste of the Hong Kong bread. I'm not sure.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Hey, sorry, may I have the name of the bakery you went? Sorry.
It's exactly the name that I think
Jouffret before
in Hong Kong, like Eric some, I forgot the name, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's the one I put on the chat.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Eric Kaiser.
Eric Kaiser.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to try. Thank you.
Okay, I think he has 3 different bakeries, one in Central, one in Wanchai, but I can't remember where is the other one. But yeah, if you really like croissant and pain au chocolat, you should try it. You should go.
It's important to put croissant inside the coffee.
Yeah,
okay, you must try inside the coffee.
Yeah,
it's better.
When we have breakfast, we tend to like dip the croissant or chocolate bread, pain au chocolat inside the coffee or milk, and then we eat it. Yeah, that's how we do it.
Do you guys also use the sauces that are left in the dishes, and you just dip in the, like, your bread, your rices, your, I don't know, everything in the sauces that are left in the dish,
but
in the main dish?
You mean the sauces of the dish inside the coffee?
No, not in the coffee, but in the, like I'm not sure. Like, for example, like the ketchup sauces, the Thousand Island sauces in the main dish. Because I saw a lot of people, like in the video, or like my friends also told me they used to like dip all the sauces. They won't like waste the sauces inside the dishes or in the coffee. So I was just curious about whether the French people are used to eat like these kinds of ways and manners.
Yeah, I see. So for example, for me, I'm talking for myself, if there is a dish with sauce, I will mop it up with my bread at the end. So even if I'm finished and I only have sauce on my plate, so I would eat it with baguettes, with bread, actually. So this is how I would do it. Yeah.
I would like to share too.
But it's not. It's okay. So sorry. Excuse me. But it's not, Joris. It's not good for social etiquette. Okay, to put bread in. No. No. It's forbidden in social etiquette in restaurants, and you mustn't do that.
Okay, I'm learning things myself.
Yeah, because every time I went to the restaurant, they always provide a bucket that slides already, and I always use it I would say to dip all the sauce that have left on the dish.
Mhm.
I saw my friend did, then I follow them. So but it's okay. I just learned now too.
Yeah, me too, actually. I didn't
I
know.
did all the time, like after the meal. Yeah.
And I have a question, actually, Nicole. Is it true that we are supposed to cut the baguette with our hands and not to cut it with a knife?
Your question is if is it possible to cut with knife bread? Is that your question? Your question?
The baguette, yes, yeah.
Yes, you must break the bread. I know, and cut the bread with the hand and not for knife.
Yeah.
No, it's forbidden. When you have a knife on the table, it's just to put butter in the bread.
Okay, I see. So not
on the bread,
yeah,
okay, on the bread, okay. It when you have a knife on table, it's just for put butter, because in France we make a butter, and it's a special, it's a comment dire, c'est une spécialité, it's a specialty to make butter, okay. And you have butter with salt, okay, and without salt, and it's very, very good for with bread. But you mustn't break, you mustn't cut the bread with a knife. No, just with hands.
Okay, I see.
Social etiquette.
I also have a question. Does it matter
Yes.
when people hold a fork on the right or on the left, or the knife on the left or right or on the left? Because for me, I'm Asian. When I eat, I use fork on the right and I use knife on the left. But I saw some of French people use like switch. Does it matter for you, or it's
No, it's not a problem. In general, you put a fork in a left, okay, and you cut with and we cut with the right, okay. But if you want, you can change. If you can change to it, okay, with and to it with the right. It's possible. It's okay, and you can when you put the fork in the mouth, okay. You
only have to put like little chunks of food in your mouth, not big ones. So in order to be polite, because you're not supposed to, I guess, to masticate a lot, to open your mouth when you eat. So you're supposed to keep your mouth shut as much as possible. So that's why you need to put only a little amount of food in your mouth. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's something. It's a kind of a culture shock to me here in Hong Kong, because very, very often you can hear people like chewing their food, or when they eat soup, you know, they do this sound. And when you do this in a restaurant, it's very impolite and rude in France, so it's kind of disturbing to me in a way.
Yeah, but I think because they believe that the more sound you make, it's more delicious. I think I think I will let my Chinese friend explain. But for me, I've seen from my friend, they eat very loud to explain, like, okay, the food is very delicious. But it's totally completely from French culture that you have to be quiet, eat little. Yeah, I understand.
I guess like because like especially a lot of Hong Kong people don't have a lot of time to grab their lunch, so they need to go back to the work or go back to their studies very quickly. So they eat very fast, just in 10 or 15 minutes. So they used to make these kinds of chewing a lot of food inside their mouth at the same time. But I think like what one of them has just mentioned is the sound of like chewing. I think like when I'm not sure whether it's the Hong Kong culture or not. But when you go to Japan, like the restaurant in for example in ramen houses, they used to chew the food with making the sounds, which means like the food is really delicious. But I'm not sure whether it applies the same theory in Hong Kong or not. So yeah, just some information for you guys. But I'm sorry, actually I have also a question. Do the French people share the baguettes with others, like their friends or their families or anyone? Like the Italian people, they used to eat the whole pizza just by themselves. So I was just curious whether the French people also eat the whole bread by themselves or not.
Yeah, I just wanted to interact with everyone, but yes, I can answer. It's just I know when we have a baguette at the table for lunch or dinner or whatever, it's something we share with everyone. Because
Yes,
eating a baguette is huge, so just for one person it's too big. So yeah, it's something we share with everyone that's there at the table.
We don't eat a baguette by day. It's a lot. Okay, it's like that a baguette.
Ah, d'accord.
But with my family, for example, we are four. It's the four of us in our family. So my sister and my parents and myself. So we will eat one baguette per day. With 4 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
She loves a lot of baguettes. Yeah. Lauren, your sister.
My sister. Yeah.
Yes.
And I would like you to share about French lunch or dinner that you had spent time together, because from my experience, French people can spend 3 to 4 hours for one meal. So why you spend too long time as the traditional?
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, it's okay, vas-y.
Okay. I think it's when we have guests, for example, we always have different meals. For example, so we will have, first of all, the entree. So we eat the entree, and after we eat the main course. So in between the two meals, we take time to speak to each other. Then we eat the main course. After the main course, we always have the cheese plate. So the same, we take time to talk to each other in between the two. After the cheese plate, we have the desserts. So we take time to discuss, and then we can have coffee or tea or whatever. So it's never ending.
When you have guests at home, yes, it's possible, but 4 hours, it's very, very long. Okay. Yeah. But for example, in a restaurant with 3 Michelin stars, you can stay for 4 hours in the table, because there are a lot of plates with little bouchées. Okay, no, little plates. Je sais pas comment tu dis des petites bouchées, tu sais, des petits plats, little plates, little dishes. Okay, yeah, a lot of little dishes.
Some appetizers in between the dishes.
Appetizer.
Yeah. So, for example, even between in fancy restaurants, not in all restaurants, but in very fancy restaurants, you can get the entree, and between the entree and the main course, you will have some appetizers.
Appetizer.
Yeah. A lot. So you eat a lot, actually. Yeah. So you can.
And you have not only one dessert, you have 3 or 4 desserts during a meal in a big restaurant.
Yeah.
Yes, it's possible.
I would say spending time on the table, it's one of my culture shock in France, because when you finish one thing and then another thing always come up. I mean, I went to a family, so for me it's a culture shock for me, and we spent we did a birthday celebration,
Mhm.
and we start from 11 o'clock. We finish around 3 or 4. It's a very long time, but I understand that French spend a lot of time on the table.
Yeah.
They share and they exchange the update each other. Yeah, it's for me it's very nice, and also the food is very delicious.
Yes.
French cuisine
But
is the best.
in France, we during afternoon, the weekend, we are going to sleep after the meal.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
On dit, je sais pas comment tu dis la sieste en fait.
Yeah,
il y a un
take
mot
a nap.
spécial.
Yeah,
Yes, you can sleep during 1 hour after the meal during the weekend.
Ah, okay, interesting. I thought it's only the kids.
Oh,
Adults are possible? Ah, okay, thank you.
okay. Anyone else has something to share? Any questions? If you don't want to speak, you can also type in the chat. It's okay.
Okay, Joris will give.
Tu viens, vous venez de Paris?
No, I live in Clermont-Ferrand,
Oh,
the center of the France. Center of France, but I study in Paris.
okay.
Yes, so Clermont, just to show you on the map where it is.
Je le vois là sur la carte. Hein. Au niveau de Lyon, à gauche de Lyon.
Yeah, I just want to show you. Yeah, where it is on the map is right in the middle of France. Yeah, right here. If you can see on my screen.
In Clermont-Ferrand, you have a Michelin, Michelin, the society, the company Michelin, you know? Oui, les pneus, ils connaissent peut-être pas, non?
Oui, je le connais.
Oui, vous connaissez?
Oui, bien sûr.
Oui, et Clermont-Ferrand, it's the cradle of Michelin.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Any question? Any comments?
Okay, Joris, you will give you the document? Okay, tu donneras le document?
Oui.
Okay, super.
Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, I just want to share with you guys. So I'm going to share my screen again. Some French restaurant that you can find in Hong Kong. So you guys can try to check them out if you want. Yes, so if you like cheese, French cheese, you can go to La Crèmerie in one side. So they sell authentic French cheese, and I try them. It's very good. You can go as well to La Crêperie. So it's a restaurant where you can eat some crepes. I went there, and it's not very expensive. You can get very good crepes for 150 Hong Kong dollars. So it's worth the try. You have as well le 15-20 if you like wine. I'm not supposed to talk about alcohol to the students, but if you like wine, you can try this bar. You have as well very famous bar in Central called Pastis. Pastis is actually a French alcoholic drink as well from the south of France. And I think the last one is, so this one is a little bit more expensive. La Table, the table, is in TST. So it's a restaurant. And I think, oh yeah, and this one, another French restaurants in one child, la maison, the house. So yeah. So if you like French food, you can go to Hong Kong Island. They have plenty of different restaurants for you to try. All right, so if you guys don't have anything else to say, thank you for joining us tonight. It was great talking with you. I hope you were able to learn a few more things about French culture. And I hope I will see you in our next events, maybe with Salwa. Thank you guys. Au revoir. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Au revoir.
Salut. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bonne soirée.
Bonsoir. Bonsoir.